Yo, dude, making this video may or may not be a mistake. Because, I'm tired. And I look like shit. Hey. Whoa, what a run. Hey, y'all. How are you? I just wanted to let you know that Monday, Tuesday is my weekend. And I have no idea what I'm going to say, but it's been like 5 days since I talked to you guys live. And as the Strokes say, Monday, Tuesday is my weekend. So I thought I would come on and hang out with you guys just to say hello and hey, y'all. Give y'all a piece of my mind. Because in the last 5 days, so much crazy shit has happened. And I wanted to share it with y'all because y'all are my friends. Okay, first off, we will be drinking and smoking because Monday, Tuesday is my weekend. It's my first beer. A piece or a chunk. But if you guys don't mind, I would like to go back in time. Dear Diary. Dude, for real. Because there's a lot of times where, it seems like people don't give out very good information. Or people give out information that like anybody can get a hold of. Or people put out information that's just like repeating what other fucking people said. There will be cussing, right? And so often, I give you guys like front of the line, amazing information you're not going to get anywhere else. For example, I said after Memorial Day that there was this huge, there was a day where it was a very Q and the MAGA, they were like, we are going to take over Texas. We're going to pull a coup on Texas. We're coming to take over Texas. And I was like, what the fuck? Because Texas does not need politicians. Texas does not need presidents. Texas does not need political parties. Texas is Texas, and we're like independent, right? So we do not draw our Texas awesomeness from politics in any way, shape, or form. Anywho, like a week or two after I told you all that, Elon Musk was like, hey, I'm going to build my giant factory in Texas, and I'm moving to Texas. And then like 5 days ago, Joe Rogan was like, I'm moving to Texas. And I was like, fuck! Fuck! So you mean to tell me Elon Musk gets to trick half the Americans into believing that the coronavirus is a total fucking hoax, and at the same time, he gets to see his company quadruple in profits while helping unhinge how good Texas was doing as all these people get laid off, and then Elon gets to swoop in and buy chunks of Texas in real estate for pennies on the dollar. And Joe Rogan gets to swoop in too. And they're like, woo, we're the kings of Texas now. Is that how this works? Maybe, So, ever since I found out Joe fucking Rogan was moving to Texas, I've been kind of like, whoa. Anywho, I told y'all that they were moving to fucking Texas and that they were going to try and cue Texas right after Memorial Day. And I was like, oh, fuck. They're like, fuck you, Thor. We are taking Texas over. I was like, look, man, Texas is cool. Y'all are welcome to live here and shit, but don't bring your fucking horrible BS where you're gaslighting everyone all the time to fucking Texas. But no. And so, that's issue number one that I want to talk to you guys about. was bad. I was like, hey man, Elon and fucking Joe Rogan are moving to Texas. You didn't hear that from Q didn't tell y'all. Fucking CNN didn't tell y'all. Fox didn't tell y'all. Nobody mentioned it. I was the first person that was like, hey guys. You know, so cheers. Cheers, man. I'm sick of talking about COVID. I'm sick of talking about Elon. Hoy vey. But I love y'all. So technically, this is me taking a break from hurricanes. Because I've been on a pretty steady run. Because remember, I was one of the people that was like, oh my God, Hannah's going to be a hurricane. And so, oh, check out my eyeballs, man. Can you see that the inside of my eye, like there are red rings, like a blue blood vessels out or some shit. I know it's been a pretty serious run. Hi. And so let's see, that was the first point I want to talk about. Oh, I want to tell you, I injected hydrochloroquine into my dick hole, and that shit totally works, bro. Woo! 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 Alright, that's a joke. It's a pill. There's no way I'm sticking a pill in my dick hole. You know? No way. I love you, Jess. And thank you, Matthew. All right, so, okay, then, if politics is going to trigger you, then you might as well step the fuck out now. Because did you guys watch that press conference that happened yesterday and then Twitter took it down and Facebook took it down and then Google took it down, right? Okay, it had all these doctors in lab coats lined up. And it had this one eloquent African lady speaker who... But I want to point out here that all of the doctors that were on this, like, doctors against whatever, said that it's real. So, like, every single one of those fucking doctors said the coronavirus is real. Now, granted, they said hydrochloroquine, if you take it, it will solve hydrochloroquine. And look, man, I try to be down the fucking middle, and I will tell you at this point, I think anyone out there, Dan, thanks, man. I gotta write this shit down so I can thank you guys now and later. But I just want to tell you guys, y'all are great. That anyone who wants to take hydrochloroquine should be able to fucking take hydrochloroquine. It's kind of like anytime I see a doctor, they're like, you need to quit smoking. I'm like, look, dude, when I quit smoking, I've done it like 4 times for like 3 months. I like want to fight everybody and I'm yelling at people all the time. And so like I become a monster when I quit smoking. I've tried it. I become like a big asshole. I go from being the coolest dude on the planet to an asshole. So unless you can prescribe me Valium, I'm not going to quit smoking because I don't like being a fucking asshole. And they're like, oh, we discontinued Valium. It was way too good. It worked way too well. People liked it too much. So we got rid of Valium. So what I'm trying to say here is, if people want to take hydrochloroquine, go fucking right ahead. I think you should be allowed to. Technically, I think you should totally avoid the virus in the first place. Although these doctors were saying that the one African lady doctor was saying hydrochloroquine cured 300 patients he had of coronavirus. And look, I don't know if that's fucking true. Although some research on it said that she's like the demon sperm lady and they're putting vaccines in you to make you not like religion. And I'm a Christian, but look, dude, religion's not that great. Jesus to me is perfect. God is super immaculate. Religion's kind of fucking shaky, bro. You know? Anywho, I'm not saying that I'm pro anti-religious vaccines. I'm just saying that. So from this press conference, every single one of those doctors was like, "Yeah, it's a threat. Yeah, it kills people. Yes, it definitely kills people over 60." And so it's just like, so you've had Trump come out and basically say, "Oh yeah, it's killing a bunch of people." You've had all these doctors come out and say it's killing a bunch of people, and you've still got like 30% of people who are like, "It's a hoax. It won't fucking hurt you." One of my favorite, the people that have been with me in Astro Fight Club, one of my favorite Astro Fight Club members got it, was in the hospital for a fucking month, and said it's horrible. Now, granted, I know Ben is like, "Oh, it's no worse than the flu. I'm gonna go golfing." Or Diamond is like, "Boom! It's a hoax, pandemic. Grand total minimum. Yeah, I'm the ice age. QAnon, Benghazi." But dude, all of my sources basically said you do not want to catch this motherfucking shit. Anywho, so like we've had all these Republican doctors agree with me that you don't want to catch it. You've had, although the lady basically said that we could go back to school, we could go back to Taylor Swift concerts, we could go back to live music, we could go back to Disneyland if everyone took a hydrochloroquine pill once every 2 weeks. Now that creates a lot of weird systematics, like you gotta even BP Earthwatch was like, "Dude, it's no worse than the flu." Dabu's like, "It's a hoax." Dude. Anyway, so like she's saying, yeah, if every single human being on Earth took hydrochloroquine every 2 weeks, we could go back to work. Whether or not that's true, I don't fucking know. My plan is to avoid getting that motherfucking shit in the first place. Oh, but because look, things are just so fucking weird. The fact that we're like 150,000 dead Americans in, like any sense of humor I have at this point is going to be mildly morbid. And so, one doctor got up there and he was like, "Hey guys, it is totally safe to send your kids back to school because the coronavirus hasn't killed any children." And then they were like, "It's killed 30 children." And he was like, "Okay, you're correct. It has killed 30 children, but those children had asthma. And so, if your children do not have asthma, it's safe to send them back to school." And I don't know, I thought that was fucking hilarious. I mean, it's not funny. 30 dead kids is not funny. But the fact that he was like, "No children died from this." And they were like, "Wait, 30 children died." And he was like, "Yeah, but those kids had asthma." And that's always what is so weird about this shit is like the people were like, "Yeah, they had fucking pre-existing conditions." And I just want to point, like we had a police chief in Houston die from it. We had a fire marshal, I believe, die from it. And they look like two healthy dudes who used to work being in the police and being in the fire department. So it's not like it's kicking people off the cliff who are already falling off. I don't know, man. And then today, did you watch President's press conference? He said they spent like $10 billion on medicine, ventilators, masks, gloves. So like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like the president says it's fucking real. The like Q doctors came on and say it's real. The only people who say it's fake are YouTubers and QAnon. So like the only people that are holding out now, and the fucking Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan. And so that's very frustrating to me because we're going to be dealing with this shit for 2 fucking years. And so to get on the right page, we'd have to get everybody to either take hydrochloroquine every fucking day or wear a mask every fucking day. And so, Oh, and if you're just joining us, the very first point I made was, back after Memorial Day, I told y'all, oh fuck, it's like the QAnon crew are like, "We're coming to take Texas store. Fuck you, you're out of here. Doom on, you're done." And then over the last 2 weeks, Elon Musk announced that he's moving to Texas. And then Joe Rogan announced he's moving to Texas. Elon Musk is born in fucking Africa. And so, yeah, it's like, there's gonna be a fucking Q, and Q lives here, dude. Q lives down the fucking street from me. And we're kind of like Thor and Loki, man. Well, if you guys knew all the shit, it's a crazy world, bro. And so I'm just trying to say that, like, out of all the people who are out there giving you information, my information is usually pretty decent, pretty good. Oh, and as far as the hurricanes, I would be doing another update right now. But never before in all my hurricane days have I seen so many people go, there is a lot of shit we don't know, and everything could change, and so nobody has any fucking clue where this thing is going. At this point, I agree with that assessment. But that thing is huge, man. Like, if that thing starts to wind up and get to hurricane-y, it's gonna do some fucking damage. And it's 5 days away. That's like 100 hours. So that's crazy shit. So cheers. But like I said, I don't know, some switch. So, dude, if you want to have Republican COVID parties, go right the fuck ahead. At this point, I've spent all year, and I know that, like I said, I'm not going to convince the Ku Klux Klan to not be fucking racist assholes. I'm not going to convince fucking Nazis to not be Nazis. I'm not going to be able to convince the Wall Street guys who love fucking hurting people off a cliff to stop hurting people off a cliff. And I'm not going to convince people who think it's a fucking hoax or whatever, to change their fucking mind. Look, man, for the next 6 weeks, nobody's changing their mind. Like, we've gone into Mars shadow. Oh, by the way, this is the question I wanted to ask. I was like, well, is Herman Cain, who is the big Republican guy who got the coronavirus and has been in the hospital for a month, I was like, have you tried giving that motherfucker hydrochloroquine? Oh, this isn't funny, but I fucking laughed. Trump's national security advisor got the coronavirus. And I looked up the word security, and it was all about safety and staying out of danger, you know? And I was like, well, have you given that motherfucker hydrochloroquine? And it's kind of like, dude, I stay in my foxhole. I wear my mask when I go out. I'm very careful. Because if I get it, that reflects bad on me as Planetary Defense Commander. I'm telling you guys, try not to get it. So if I get it, makes me look bad. And I don't know, man. Having your fucking national security head get it, it's a bad sign, dude. Anywho, that happened as soon as Mars went into the shadow period, because we're going into Mars retrograde. And I gotta warn you guys, like, there are the Martian spirits, you know, that, like, we all have, like, our inner animal spirits. And so the people who are always talking about Mars, or like, I love Mars, like Elon Musk is a prime example. He's like, we all have like a little jewel in our third eye, and Elon's jewel is definitely a reptile jewel, where like, he thinks it's hilarious to trick all the fucking anyone under $1 billion into going to get the coronavirus. And so, like with all the planets retrograde, Mars has felt like king shit of fuck mountain. But Mars goes retrograde September 9th. Or is it the 11th? No, that Jupiter goes direct. And so, all the people who are like, yay, greed, war, they're going to lose a lot of their power on September 9th. But from the point Mars shadow started to then, they're going to be freaking out. Kind of. They just don't know yet. And so that over the next 5 weeks, like, our biggest assholes are just going to be big assholes. Our meanest people are just going to get meaner. And so Buckle up, man. Buckle up, dude. What was I talking about? Oh, so what is next? All right. Remember when I told you guys what I considered more insider information? That, like, the main reason they're trying to throw the Major League Baseball game is because if they have one game, everybody gets paid, and then the insurance kicks in. So if they cancel the season, insurance has to pay everybody and pay for the stadiums, and insurance got to dole out a bunch of money, right? So hey, guess what? They played like 2 games, and then they were like, oh crap. The Marlins, 14 of our players tested positive yesterday. And then they were like, oh crap, 2 more tested positive today. And 1 guy feels sick. And so they canceled the game. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, now you're hearing all these stats about all the players that are starting to test positive as they're trying to play a baseball season. I don't know. It's not funny, but to me, it's sort of hilarious. That, like, and now, you know, from what I understand, the universities are doing the same things. Is that a lot of places are saying, hey, we're gonna have on campus classes this fall. That way, so everybody pays their tuition. And then after the first day of class, they can be like, oh, fuck, we found 10 students that have COVID. We are sending you guys home, and we are now going to remote teach you. Do you understand what I'm telling you here? I hope so. Also, if all or any of my grand solar minimum pals are out there, look, brother, I would love to have a fun rivalry over the next 5 years. You know, it is okay for me to be the only guy that isn't in grand solar minimum. It is okay for me not to join the hive mind. And it is okay for me to disagree. Right? I just don't think anyone can predict what the sun is going to fucking do for 30 fucking years. You might get the same people who bought into QAnon's mass arrests coming, but that shit just ain't true. And so, it ain't got to be some weird total war, and I don't have to call you guys out all the time. I don't have to kick the beehive every fucking day. But that would mean at some point you guys would have to be kind of cool, because it's clear we're not in a fucking mini ice age. And it's clear that solar activity is going to outperform all your projections. I love y'all. My eyes are so blurry I can't even read. Did I run out of shit to say? Maybe. Probably not, though. Vitamin doobies. All I have is vitamin V vape. So I'll try that. Oh. Yeah, but so back to the hurricane. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I got a real bad feeling, though. But miracles are possible. Just like it looked like Douglas was headed straight to Hawaii. It hitched and hitched and hitched. And Hawaii was safe. And so it would be nice if I say ass, E say ass, and I'm against calling something that starts with an I an E vowel. It just doesn't feel right to me. But I got a bad feeling. I think they got a shield over Miami. Here's another theory that I had. Remember when they ran the stock market up to 30K in the Dow Jones? They couldn't have run the stock market up if hurricanes were hitting us. And so now that the stock markets have decoupled from reality and human beings, hey, that we can get hit by hurricanes now. And I'm really worried about, I honestly think, because I said last year we'd get a hurricane hit in South Texas, Southwest, Louisiana, New York, New Jersey, New England, and then in Crystal River, Florida. I was totally wrong. Had egg on my face. Apologized 100 times for wasting y'all's time. But then I was like, fuck. What if it comes in 2-year cycles? And so I was right, but it's this year. We don't know. We won't know. I'm not asking you to bet your life, your family's life, your friend's life, your children's life, your pet's life on that. And I think it's 5 days away. And then Puerto Rico had 100,000 people lose power for nothing, just like right before the storm gets there. I don't know, man. If you're just joining us, technically this is my weekend, and I've definitely been working for a long time. This year's been fucking crazy. I'm gonna get my second beer. Grab a beer if you want one. I'll be right back. Let me be clear. I don't like Elon Musk. And you always follow the money. Like, who's made the most money off of the pandemic? Well, Microsoft, Elon Musk, Apple, Amazon. And how the fuck did Elon Musk make all this money for Tesla when it's about driving cars? What I think it is that they're funneling whatever satellites he's putting up. Remember, he's like, I'm giving free internet to the poor people in Africa. But he always says shit like that and then never does anything. And so he's put up like, what, 500 satellites that are ruining a bunch of photographs that astronomers are taking? And so I guess they're paying him for whatever he did with the satellites. That would be my guess. Okay, because you guys are here, this isn't an official Nostradamus video, but the passage is technically, we've read it so many times, it's almost ripped out of my book. This has been a good guide for us. And I always get like 1 or 2 people who are like, Nostradamus is Satan. Look, man, if you read his letters to his son and the kings and stuff, he's a super Christian. He's always like, God gave me the power, Jesus gave me the power. And then God talks about there being prophets. Oh, another cute but funny thing was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Truth Community, but there's this woman who had a channel called The Rapture Puzzle. And technically, I've never believed in the rapture because Jesus died and then was risen. But if Jesus died, you're going to die too, I'm going to die too, we're all going to die, dude. I don't think we're getting beamed up to the spaceship. But like 30% of Christians are like, oh, hell no, we're getting beamed up to the spaceship. Didn't you read those 3 passages that clearly state we're getting teleported to heaven without pain or death? And I was like, yeah, I read them. But just because one guy got left in the field and one guy got taken up doesn't mean, I don't know. It's not enough for me. Okay, what's it talking about? Oh. So the rapture puzzle lady was like, okay, I give up. I was wrong. None of my predictions came true. And she was like, and you would think I would be sad. But I was actually happy. And my husband was happy. Because I always thought the world was ending. And then now I realized I have like a decade in front of me. And so for the first time in the last 10 years, I could actually make plans for me and my kids and my family. And so I thought that was cute. Although I gotta say that most of her predictions were tied to Obama being the Antichrist and the beast. So that's where, clearly he was not the fucking beast, dude. You can say whatever you want, but Obama was clearly not the worst dude we've had come along. All right, so August. Okay, so July was hail, rust, rains, and great plagues. To preserve women, and I worked it out to where when he said the woman would die, and so the woman here means freedom. They will be the cause of the noise. Death of several plagues, steel, famine through hatreds. Famine through hatreds. So they're making sure we don't take care of each other by getting us to hate each other. The sky will be seen, which is to say that it will light up again. And so, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was saying we were probably going to see a comet in July from this. And I've been saying it since like February. So the fact that I called the comet a couple months out was impressive. Through the help of Nostradamus, God, and Jesus Christ. And the fact that I called that 7.1, 7.5 earthquake pretty much almost to the day based off its being close to Earth, that was pretty fucking impressive too. All right, so now we're skipping ahead to August. The grain will not at all be sufficient. And so I watched the press conference with the president, and they asked him, because I've done like 10 videos saying, look, guys, extend the unemployment benefits, pretty please. I don't get unemployment, but there are 30 million families that are going to be... Here's another thing. I can feel the empathy. It's one of the powers that I have. So I can feel what Americans feel. If they're happy, I get some of the happiness. If they're really angry, I can feel like, right? And so the last week, or last 4 or 5 days has been, any time other than 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. has been pretty horrific. Just because I can feel everyone panicking and worrying that they're not going to be able to pay their bills, or if they have the eviction moratoriums run up, like, I can feel the worry in people's hearts, right? And so I have been pushing hardcore to try and get them to extend the benefits. And they asked the president today at the press conference if the Democrats and Republicans can't work out a deal, are you in favor of having a side thing that would allow the benefits to be extended? And he said, yes, maybe, possibly. We are not going to let those people down. And he doesn't always do what he says. He doesn't always mean what he says. But for like the next 24 hours, I'm going to that's why we're having this live show. Just because I felt like the idea of letting 30 million people go without any type of a net under them right before the hurricanes hit just seems crueler than cruel. So, I mean, they got to do something, dude. You know what I'm saying? And so that is good news. I don't know if it's going to be the full 600. Hopefully... we'll see what happens. But I've been sleeping in like 3 or 4 hour chunks. Oh, and my couch is broken now. I guess it's because I'm so fat. And I sleep on it. So I'm now sleeping on a broken couch, which I think might add to the not sleeping well all the time. I've got a mattress though, but it's still cursed. All right. Love you guys. I'm now going to vape. So, oh yeah. Let me finish up with August. Like I was saying, anytime I go to the Nostradamus, it's not fun because the grain will not be sufficient, meaning the food is fucked. The death approaches to snow more than white. Sterility, grain rotted, abundance of water. That sounds like we're getting hit by fucking hurricanes. And floods. The great one wounded, several of death on the flank. Yeah, so August doesn't sound like a party. But I'm not surprised, dude. September, scarcity of fruits, nor grain, trees, and shrubs. So that means starvation as well. Famine and death is October. So we've got like 3 months of famine and food problems. So that should be our focus. Oh, I got more subjects. Boom. Because I've been saying since 2017 that anything that goes on in Portland, it's like Portland is like a cross between Washington. Portland is like a cross between Hollywood. And so it's like, I don't trust fucking shit that comes out of Portland. And I've said that since 2017. And so they've been having nonstop riots and protests in Portland for like a month now. And I checked, and for example, Houston is 45% white, 25% black. Portland is like 80% white and 3% black. So the idea that like an almost all white city is protesting just seems really bizarre to me. Oh, and it's always our president's like, oh my God, we got to get these cities are just totally out of control. America's falling apart. Portland's the 26th biggest city in America, man. So it's not New York. It's not Houston. It's not fucking Chicago. It's not Los Angeles. It's not even like fucking St. Louis. Portland reminds me, have you ever seen the movie Blazing Saddles? When they have like the cardboard city? I'm not saying Portland's made out of cardboard, but I would guess Portland has more agent provocateurs than any city in America. You know what I'm saying? But it's like the media darling. And it's the president's darling. That like, you know, that's where like a ton of the media focus has gone to is like, Portland. Everybody pay attention to Portland. I'm like, why the fuck are we paying attention to Portland, dude? And today during the press conference, the president was like, they didn't burn down the courthouse. Victory! I was like, what, dude? I don't even... Act locally. Yeah. I'm acting locally, but like I said, Joe fucking Rogan and Elon fucking Musk are moving here. And apparently Elon and his new baby mama are not getting along. It's more insider information, dude. And it's so weird that Amber Heard went from Johnny Depp to Elon. Remember, I had this theory that they were using women to take out the alpha males. Or they were just trying to drive all the alpha males crazy so they wouldn't be good leaders or good men. Have you read Sun Tzu? Anyway. I'm very not excited about Elon and Joe Rogan moving to Texas. Joe Rogan got a $40 million contract. And it's not the money, it's just the fact that, like I said, you know what Alex Jones bragged about making? $40 million a year. He wasn't selling fucking boner pills to the tune of $40 billion, bro. I mean, I did the math one day and like I tried to figure out the amount of shit he would have had to sell out of his store. And he only had like a million fucking followers. So that would be like out of a million people, out of a million YouTube subscribers, every single YouTuber spent $40 a year. Does that make any sense to you? I'm not giving up though. Hell no. And I'm not losing hope either. But I am going to use this old Norwegian family letter opener heirloom to clean my fingernails because they're dirty. I totally need to take a shower. The way I smell is part of my social distancing. Because, like, you don't want to get within 6 feet of me. Because I smell so bad. It's a true story. Oh, yeah. I did separate all my laundry, though. All right. Have I run out of cool shit to talk about? Maybe. So I'm going to vape, see if I can come up with anything else. But I highly recommend everyone hang on till the middle of September. Because shit should get better when Mars goes retrograde. Can I please remind you guys? The prediction I made when Trump, because I thought Hillary was going to win. I was wrong. But the initial prediction I made, and I think I made it in the first video after he got elected, was I said, hey, I bet he's going to be like George W. Bush, except for one term. You go back and check the video out. So that like the stock markets would get really high, things would get really crazy, and then at the very end, before his term is over, the markets will fucking crash. And so I've tried to predict the crash and failed multiple times this year. Other people have tried to predict it and failed. And so I would guess that there is a crash coming. But they were talking about the dollar's so weak that it's losing its status as the global reserve currency. And who here has hyperinflation on their bingo card for 2020? You know what I'm talking about? All right. See, I don't know. Maybe they've created so much money. Because, like, Bitcoin finally broke 10 grand again. Last time I checked, it was like at 11.5. And so maybe they've just created so much money, technically it can never go down again. But I don't totally believe that. Because I think that, like, 30 people own 97% of all the currency in the world. And that's how they've been able to keep inflation at bay. But can they keep inflation at bay at tiers 2 and tiers 3? I don't know. Oh, man. Oh, another, like, Elon thing. So it was like 3 days ago, 5 days ago, he was like, I do not support another government stimulus package. I was like, bitch. So I went ahead and made a bunch of videos saying, hey, I totally support 30 million unemployed people getting unemployment benefits extensions. And he was like, I do not support that. I'm the 5th richest man in the world. Although he did say he supports UBI, which is the first time I'd ever heard him say that. And we're the same age. That drives me crazy. And probably also the fact that all of the crushes I had at one point in time probably kissed him. Whatever. Now I'm talking crazy. Hey, shout out to Illinois. But shout out to all y'all. To quote Dave Chappelle, anyone who survives this is my hero. And especially anyone who survives with your sense of humor intact. There's Mike T. What up, Mike? Thank you, Mike, for being awesome. And shout out to Kansas. So this was fun. You guys are great. But like I said, at this point, hurricane, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. This is one of the weirdest hurricane situations we've ever been in. But everybody along the coast needs to be on super fucking high alert, especially Florida and the East Coast. Because the models have shown, 955. You know what I like to do? I like to look at every single model, and then you take like the lowest, which is usually like a less than tropical storm, to the highest. And that is the range we have of possibility. And so that would put us now at 955, which would be category 2, category 3 range. And the waters in the Atlantic up by New York are like 80 degrees, man. They're anomalously high. Dude, it's not, someone said it's hurricane season, deal with it. Dude, it's not just hurricane season, it is 2020. You've got, see, you're one of those nothing new people. Like, yeah, plagues aren't new either. I would say that the digital age is new. Like, they didn't have fucking iPhones before 2000. So, like, but I'm trying to tell you that, like, Thanos is here. Loki is here. And Ultron is here. And so, I'm doing what I can to help the mortals out, bro. And if you want to be like, this is nothing new, then that is your right. But hey, if you got a hurricane bearing down on you, maybe pop a hydrochloroquine pill and you go be okay. And if you really look at the population increases since 1980, it's kind of like saying that like plagues aren't anything new. No, but we hadn't had a plague in the modern age. And I can already tell from your vibe, you're one of those grand solar minimum motherfuckers. So if I say, oh my God, there's a solar storm coming, you're like, fearmonger. If I say, we're tracking a hurricane, you're like, nothing new. It's like you are a textbook nihilist. I don't mean to misspeak, but I'm just saying. But we're definitely at the fun part of the grand solar minimum thingy. Where like, we're definitely at the fun part of like, let me put it this way. I was here as planetary defense commander for 4 years under Obama. And so for 4 years, like I had one of my best friends forever stop being my friend because I used to talk shit about Obama. I had a bunch of people I knew stop talking to me because I would criticize Obama. And so now for 3.7 years, I've been having to deal with the whole fucking shift over. Where I've been dealing with literally Q, the MAGA people, Republicans, conservatives have been like, fuck you, Thor, you don't know shit. You're a dumbass. Blah, blah, blah. So, like, I have endured it from the Obama people, and then now I'm about to survive it through the fucking Republican people. And I stayed in the middle the whole time. And at this moment, sir, you are on my channel. So, I'm going to retain the floor if you don't mind. Because it's like I was saying to start the video. I said after Memorial Day, hey dude, there's going to be a big push for the MAGA Q kids to move to Texas. And then Elon was like, I'm moving to Texas. And then Joe Rogan was like, I'm moving to Texas. I told you about that before anyone on the fucking planet. I do that type of shit on a decent regular basis. Sweet. And that is one of the best things about being planetary defense commander is that no one can tell me how to do my job. Good and bad, you guys pay me to call the shots as planetary defense commander. Oh crap. Wagon breath, what kind of sticker is that? Fuck, hit the wrong thing. Why won't it let me? And the astrologers and the astronomy was like, whatever you do, don't talk, and definitely don't talk shit. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I talked shit. I do hope you forgive me, and I do hope I survive, but it is the 8th of July. And you might have missed the whole hydrochloroquine demon sperm anti-religious DNA thing of the like 12 doctors with white coats. Where today Trump said Fauci's done a good job. So it's a crazy world, and it's getting crazier. And I wish people would calm the fuck down and get cooler, nicer, kinder, funnier, and we could work through all of this together. I've been saying that for a long time. Now I'm still hanging on, and this is my lucky favorite t-shirt, and I lost it for months. But then I found it the other day in the first place I looked. That was exciting. And I'm doing what I can to like give you guys information in a entertaining fashion. I'm not here to make you scared. I'm not here to blame people. Like I am not blaming for Elon for moving to Texas. I'm just telling y'all during Dear Diary that like I was not excited when Joe Rogan and Elon were like, we're moving to Texas. And so rarely do I try to put negative energy into y'all's space from my point. And so, dude, like I said, I've been up against people who are constantly pushing negative energy on me and on other people. And so, like, my negative energy shields are like fucking giant and massive. That so that like I predicted we would have a big earthquake right when the comet got close to Earth. That happened. I predicted Hurricane Hannah would be a hurricane, hit Texas. That happened. I predicted Elon and Joe Rogan were moving to Texas. That happened. This is like in the last fucking 7 days. That's just me doing what I do. And I'm still weirded out that I cried through the whole Taylor Swift album, but it was really, really, really good. And so, like, I'm over here, you know, I'm in the foxhole. And it's madness. This is Thor mad. This is me, T. On my day off, Tuesday. And I would have made 4 videos today on my day off. And then when I turn this off, I'll go back to the hurricane. Oh, and I think I started this because I was excited that, like, Trump said that he was going to extend the benefits for 30 million Americans. So that Trump would be pulling a Spike Lee and help doing what he can to do the right thing. And so we still got 5 weeks left of Mars direct. And Mars is like at the head of the planets, man. If you have a visual mind or understand, they're like, Mars is the lead horse right now of all the planets in that whole row. Where Mars is like, I'm the greatest of the planets. And that seasons change, positions change. And so, like, my good days are really, really, really going to be here starting in September. Jupiter is going direct, Saturn is going direct, and then they're going to kiss on December 21st, which will pretty much be right after the 8-year anniversary of Thor news. And that, so I'm hanging on for dear life, and I'm doing what I can to survive with a smile on my face and love in my heart. And my sense of humor. And super shout out to Storm Chaser Nick. He is the best weather memer out there. And so anyone who can add humor to a serious situation, you are an Asteroid Fight Club all-star in my book. Not only memes, but good memes. Oh, great news is we definitely don't want to depend on my guitar playing skills. I just restrang it. And this is the Squire. Because I have 2. Baby, don't you worry. Some of the strings are out of tune. Is that any better? Okay, but so, you know, hopefully me or somebody, a good prayer that kicks the shit out of that wannabe hurricane, a good song, good thought, I don't know. Do you guys remember when, what was the fucking, it was Maria. Remember what, oh my God, I'm gonna grab a third beer. And I'm going to tell my Hurricane Maria story. And I'm not going to worry about whether you believe it or not. And I've told it 100 times. Maybe it's my only good story. All right. All right, so I'd given a warning on Puerto Rico, and then Hurricane Maria, what the fuck, crushed Puerto Rico. And when it did, I was like, oh, that killed like 10,000 people. And they're like, no, it only killed 60. And then they came back like a year and a half later, it was like, all right, killed like 3,000, 5,000. Anywho, but that was back, I had my car then, and there was this bar that's like close to the highway called Bombshells. And he was like when Maria was headed up the coast and it looked like it could hit the East Coast as well. And so like I was kind of new to hurricane, not new, but just the pressure. And so I went to that bar, I drank as much as I could, and then I just started crying. Because remember, a bunch of people died, and I was young and had thin skin then, man. So I started crying and crying and crying at a bar. And all the waitresses there are gorgeous. And all the people there were... And I'm just like crying in the middle of a bar. And at some point, the cop who was there just walks up and stands next to me for like 20 minutes while I cry. Anywho, when I first broke out crying, I imagined punching that fucking Hurricane Maria like 100 times, like in my mind. I visualized it as much as I could. And I remember when I woke up next day, Cranky had tweeted out a picture of it, and it looked like there was a giant fist hole in Maria, and it didn't hurt the East Coast. I was like, holy crap, I did that. And so there are those of us who know that, like, we all have magic powers. Whether it be your emotion, your thought, your intention, your dreams, that we can alter the matrix around us. And just like in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, like, it is partially based on your belief and your will and your want. How bad do you want it? And last year, I was surrounded by tons of cool, super talented, beautiful people who got to watch as somehow Hurricane Barry got ripped in half, didn't drop a single drop on Texas, and then hurricanes didn't threaten the United States of America all last year. So yeah, that's Asteroid Fight Club, dude. We're like all in the matrix. And whether it's the plugged in matrix or the unplugged matrix, sometimes I'm going to need to be you to be the one that stops the hurricane. I'm going to need to be you, the one that stops the tornado. I'm going to need you to create good stuff in this world. Over the next 10 years, I'm going to need you to make me laugh. You got a decade to do it. But I know that I asked for money during fundraisers, but I'm now asking for something else on top of donations if you ever decide to give them. Over the next 10 years, please make me laugh. All right? I would appreciate that. Take your time. It's hard to make me laugh sometimes. You know? I love y'all. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I just felt the Mother of Dragons smile. Yeah. But that brings us back. Remember the last edited video I did that was super? Where I was basically telling y'all, okay, it is the middle of 2020. Thanos is here. Loki is here. Ultron is here. Apparently Iron Man is a total dick. And could be evil. It sure seems like Iron Man's a bad guy. Or lacks any empathy whatsoever. And is okay with like letting humans die and making a $100 bill off every dead person. So that's what we're dealing with. But in the Disney timeline, it takes place and ends in 2022. And so in that timeline, we had 4.5 billion people die, or 3.5, and half the animals. And so we're nowhere near there yet. It's still possible. And in a worst case scenario, you could have more people die on Earth, which would make me a lousy planetary defense commander. But that timeline did not have the X-Men. And then we have the X-Men. It's kind of like the underworld. Like, only they seem happy keeping the mutants separate from the Muggles, for lack of a better term. No offense, we're all powerful, we're all magic. That's some real shit right there. And that goes out to those in the Army, those in the Navy, those in the Marines, those in the Air Force, those in the National Guard, those in the Coast Guard. Did I forget one? Did I say Air Force? It goes out to the police. That goes out to the nurses, doctors, first responders, the farmers, cash. That goes out to everybody. So yeah, it's 2020. We got Thanos. We got Loki. What did Loki do? He got all the Avengers to fight each other. What is happening right now? Like, everybody's fighting each other over the dumbest fucking shit. And then you got these giant circuses that come out, whether it be the hydrochloroquine doctors or Portland or... Please remember, I said, well, when we hit 100,000, they're going to do something, like the entire... Something's going to happen that is going to propel that energy in another direction. And then they had the murder of George Floyd, which kicked off the riots and the protests. Like, I called that shit from months out. It seems like the only place that is rioting still is Portland. Like everybody else rioted out. And Portland reminds me of Waiting for Guffman. You guys may not all get that reference, but it's true. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about all this, but I think I'm pretty okay on the information. So I'm just trying to tell you guys, my X-Men, my Avengers, my Justice League, Astro Fight Club, the Astonishers, everybody out there. It is much bigger than one fucking election. And there's no New World Order in the fucking Bible. It does not say New World Order in the Bible. At no point in time in the blue letters does Jesus Christ say New World Order. It doesn't say it in the New Testament. It doesn't say it in the Old Testament. So New World Order is just like grand solar minimum. Where like somebody's fucking selling you something and that like everybody just believes it because everybody says the same fucking 3 words over and over. That's like ring around Rosie, ring around. It's like, fuck, man. So everybody's like, we gotta stop the New World Order. It's like, what? Where? What do you do? It's so like the whole New World Order, it's like for the last 20 years, it's like we can't work together because that would be the New World Order. Like I looked up to see if they were scared of the New World Order in 1918. Never mentioned. There was no mention of the New World Order in 1918. Last time we had a plague, there's no crazy preachers talking about New World Order. There was nobody was like, fuck y'all. What if this is the New World Order? And so I got the fucking YouTube community who's always like, you're pro New World Order. And the New World Order was only sold to people to reinforce the divide and conquer. Like you can't work together or that's the New World Order. And the devil's running that shit. Where Jesus Christ said, love your God above all else and love your neighbor as your family. And so the whole push for me has been like, hey, peace. And everybody working together as one family. People are like, that's New World Order, man. That's New World Order. Which I think the first even mentions of it, like, I'm going to double check all the dates and they can back fucking digitize everything, but it's like, it's so maddening. I'm almost doing Thor News for 8 years. The amount of people that literally have been secondhand parakeeting salesmanship of a New World Order is fucking astounding. And it's almost like a giant anchor in whatever conversation you're having. It's just like, hey man, I'm worried about hyperinflation. And then someone's like, dude, New World Order. Hey man, we gotta avoid World War III. New World Order. Hey man, we gotta feed all the people through 2020, 2022. New World Order. And so that's why I guess I'm a bit sketchy about the whole grand solar minimum. Remember, that shit didn't get big until 2016. That shit didn't get, like, everybody didn't fall in that fucking army until 2016, 2015. And that the YouTube community from 2013 to 2015 was like so much fun. The truth community was fun. 2012, 2015. From my perspective, those were fun days. Remember I was like, hey, we should put together the Astonishers. Hey, we should all get together. And in 2014, I was like, hey, let's all, because it was fun. And then in 2015, 2016, got like Game of Thrones. And the Grand Solar Minimum banner was like, we are the Lannisters. Grand Solar Minimum is the Lannisters in the phrase. Like the Lannisters and the Freys got married and had a grand solar minimum baby. I'm like, fuck, it sucks. And I'm going to stick to what I was saying in 2012, 2013. Nobody knows what the sun's going to fucking do. Because last time, we had a double peaked minimal solar maximum. So, I would like to go back to space weather being non-fucking political. And we could literally build some type of Dyson shield. Not only does the shield run off the energy of the sun, but if you ever had a giant solar flare, then the shield can just absorb it and keep the energy. You know, that's the shit I want to get to. We're still stuck in the petroleum engine. What was the last new city that was built? Okay, so yeah, Loki's here, Thanos is here, Ultron is here, the Riddler is here. Doom, like all the bad guys are here, all the good guys are here. It's going to be quite an adventure. And then you're going to have X amount of people who are saying, none of this is new. Nothing is new under the sun. Can you imagine if you were making love and you were like, oh, baby, this is wonderful, this is great. And she's like, nothing new under the sun. I don't know. I must be drunk. Noodles the Riddler. Now, Noodles, I always envision you as an X-Man, dude. I'm sorry to typecast you. Or like Snake Plissken. Or one of them snakes. The cool snakes, though. Like a Metal Gear Solid snake. That's the snake I'm thinking about. So you'd be like a cool David. But look, dude, we survived 20 years of nihilism. But like at the end of that, remember Lucifer's supposed to unleash his horrible demon army with CERN cannons and aliens that are gray tall and stick probes up your butt and in your mouth at the same time, so you're tasting your own ass while you're being betrothed. And I'm not saying that that's not, you know, those are things we gotta avoid. But it is definitely like the X-Men coming together with the Marvel universe and then the DC universe. That's what it's like from my point of view. And I'm like, and I know everybody's tired of hearing this. I would like to kiss a few of the ladies in the X-Men. I would like to kiss a few of the ladies in the Avengers. And I would like to kiss a few of the ladies in the DC Justice League. If they're willing. And I just got a pain in my right eye. Can you see the red ring? Like I'm going so hard. If I lose my vision, I wouldn't be surprised. Like my eyeballs have been hurting. Because apparently I connect to the Matrix with my eyes. But whatever. In the movie, it was a telephone, so it went through your ears. Good news. I haven't done my laundry in forever. And I have something rare in today's world. Check that shit out, man. See that? That is a $10 roll of quarters. That is power. I was eating healthier and doing better and walking more until about 2 days before Hannah hit. And then so now my face is all beet red again. But the flying machines still protect me. I think they're called airplanes. But like I said, I'm like 35 miles from NASA, so I never know officially what I see in the sky. And sometimes the lights on them are spectacular. And sometimes if you give them like thumbs up or they'll flash lights back. If you interact with everything around you, whether it be the birds, the planes, or the wind, or the lightning, or the clouds, the sun, the moon. If you play with the things around you with a good heart, usually it plays back. And this bag of mirror balls still hangs over my head like the sword of Damocles. Or Damascus. Which D sword was it? I don't even remember. It's Tuesday. Wheel of Fortune. Okay, but let me just say this. I don't want to be battling. Did you guys catch the video I made earlier this morning about the hurricane potential? Where Eric Webb had created the like Bugs Bunny and like super fat Chongo Bugs Bunny. That was funny. And so I would like to continue to inject hope, happiness, and humor into everything, no matter what the fuck is happening. If I got a bunch of fucking people hacking me, like right as the hurricane is landing, 4.5 days while I'm trying to save lives, while be funny and hopeful and inspiring, it just gets harder. But I guess it's like that quote in Searching for Bob Fisher. Well, then your job's harder. But it would help to get good sleep. I'm sleeping on a broken couch. I haven't had cuddling in 2.5 years. Well, then your job's harder. And I promise, but I'll still continue to try to improve. Because that is what I do. I love you. Now I'm going to be a super rude drunk host. Oh. My mobility is shit. Oh. Did you see my belly? Crap, it's big. And I'm falling over my broken couch. This would be an awkward date if it were you and I. I'd be like, hey. Do you like music? Me too. All right. See? This date is going wonderfully. It's a cross between swell and wonderful. It's wonderfully. Oh, and I'm being serious. If by any chance Hermione or the Mother of Dragons is watching, or anyone who knows them personally, please tell them I would like a piece of wedding cake sent to me if possible. I mean, you don't have to, like, the second the cake is cut, put one in a box and ship it off to me. You can wait like a half day or a couple hours. Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was a dick move of me. But even if I do never get married, I definitely want to eat some bona fide wedding cake. Because that shit is good. Especially if it was a good wedding and there's a lot of love, osmosis in that cake, dude. I'm going to shove that shit into a Bluebell vanilla ice cream in a bowl. I'm going to fucking hitchhike back to the ranch when my mom and everybody's sleeping. And I'm going to like climb in through a window and then get one of those big porcelain bowls that she has, because I don't have them here. But they're like the wonderfulest bowls to put ice cream or soup into. I'm gonna steal a bowl like a ninja, get back out the house, hitchhike back home, and then get that ice cream and shove it in the cake with the Bluebell. And then it's gonna be like my honeymoon. Just me, the wedding cake, and the bluebell ice cream in the perfect bowl. Oh, and then for Christmas, I'm going to be like, Mama, is it okay if I just keep the bowl as my Christmas present? Then there's only like, she might call the cops. Like, my son stole a bowl. That was a joke. One more cigarette. I missed my dog. His name's Bubba. He's a real fine dog. He looks like a little lion. Oh, he's got real short hair. He just looks like a super short-haired lion, although he's a dog. Good dog, though. Real good dog. Only dog I ever had, because we had a bunch. Or if I picked him up and I was like, look at the stars, Bubba. He would be comfortable in my arms, and then he would look up at the stars and he'd look over to the moon. Of all the dogs and horses I had that I tried to get to look at the stars of the moon, he was the only one that was ever like, okay, dude, I will. And he did, and he seemed like a happy dog. He's like, look at the moon. I was like, I am, Bubba. I am. Merry Christmas. I'm tired of these jack shit holidays, bro. Like, we can have a cool Christmas. We can have a cool Thanksgiving. We can have a cool Halloween. But you gotta work for it. And you gotta fucking prepare for it now. And I have these secret dreams, like, imagine taking like the 20 coolest people and then having them run off to some type of commune thing for the next 2 years and just create a bunch of cool shit. But I mean, you'd have to contact trace everybody when they went in. And I wish we'd built that super city I was talking about in 2015, because we could have done that with the whole city. Where Willie Nelson City or Stanley City, whatever we named it, Space City, we would have been able to handle the plague better than any country, city, or town in the world. And the city would have been built for that shit. That no matter what challenge comes, we built the city together, and we will face all challenges that come together as one unit city. Because that's the whole thing. If you would have helped build my city, you would own part of your city. And that your part of your city would carry on to your family. And of course, you'd have rules about selling it to outside and shit. But so in 2015, we would have had our city built by now. We'd have been like 2 years in that city. And over the like 2 years it would have taken us to build the city, we would have built up such a team mentality, a family mentality of the like 200,000 people that built, or 500,000 that built an entire city together. That was a good idea. That was a real good idea, dude. And then, so if there was like a plague, you just shut down the city, and the city would be self-contained. I mean, the city would have been built to be self-contained before there was a fucking plague. And technically, the idea I never talked about much was that, like, so if the economy collapsed, like, our city would still be a beacon. Our city would survive. And that our city could then, you know, help stabilize things. That's a weird thought, though. You know. So I was like, hey man, let's build brand new cities. In 2015, there was like, fuck no, let's just talk about politics for 5 straight years. Let's do the same old shit except worse for 5 years. And I was like, okay, can I at least have rock and roll back? And they were like, no, you cannot. But we will let you come see it a couple of times to let you know that it still survives out there, separated from the public. And I appreciate that. Like, why don't you give this shit to the people? And they're like, because it could raise their vibration. I mean, they didn't say that. That was me paraphrasing. Salute. And I'm trying to get it all out. So that way I can return to being cool. This is the second time my eyeball just hurt. So at this point, I think the cool way to handle it is then, so I'm like the leader of Grand Solar Minimum, only we change the name and the entire theory. Keep like 23% of the stuff and throw everything else out that didn't work. You know what I'm saying? All right. All right. All right. Oh, another thing. You know what? After the election, whether Biden wins or Trump wins, you know, they get like a day to celebrate. And then for like a month, I want every single fucking person to shut the fuck up about politics. Because let me tell you how it worked the last fucking 8 years. Or definitely the last 4 years. Everybody talks every day about politics all the fucking time, nonstop, for like 2 years. And then they get to vote once. And then they talk nonstop about politics for 2 fucking straight years. Then they get to vote once. And that is like the most inefficient waste of time I can think of. And so everybody's been running their mouth about politics nonstop for years, bro. So I believe I have earned, and we have earned the right to shut the fuck up about politics for a month. Let's all take a month off. They're like, you literally don't have to worry about another election for 2 more fucking years. Though that is probably not true the way things are going. This election will probably drag on for 3 months. This election will probably be like 2001 all over again. Although I say that, and weird shit could go down and we could lose Biden and Trump before it's even... You got Thanos. You got fucking Ultron. You got Loki. You got Doomsday. You got Cthulhu. You got Lilith. Pretty sure all of, like... So, I mean, technically, you could lose me. I don't think this is going to happen. I think I'm going to make it to the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. I think I'm going to make it to the 2025 solar maximum. So that's cool. But, you know, I appreciate... That's what I get. How different would it be if I could be sitting with some of you ladies talking about some of this stuff? Because I know most men don't get into the Lilith stuff. And technically, I'm not into the Lilith shit at all. Like, this is not my... Lilith never makes the party fun. but the whole Lilith thing, because like everybody's so freaked out by the biblical side of it. So if the whole Lilith, Eden, Adam, it's fascinating. It's mythological. And so yeah, I mean, it would be cool to talk to women. Women don't understand the whole thing about where Lilith is like, I just want to go home, and home apparently is not a whole other planet or somewhere like. When I hear I just want to go home, meaning another planet, what I hear is I'm very unhappy. And there's nothing you can do while I'm alive here to make me happy. If you have that person with you on a road trip, it's probably not a very fun road trip. Where that person's like, I just wish I was anywhere but here and Earth. But Lilith is a total badass. Lilith knows how to control the room. Lilith knows how to get her way. But Thanos hates fun. And Thanos only laughs at his own jokes. But it's definitely weird over the 8 years that I've been doing this, how I've grown to like Mars, Pluto, and even Eris more. I guess technically Lilith, since I've started doing this. And that I see them all as neutral. Life's weird. The universe that we live in is strange. And as Jim Morrison said, this is the strangest life I've ever known. Cheers to that. And you guys are amazing. The fact that there are 64 people here with me right now blows my mind. This is me taking a break from hurricanes. But hurricanes is way more fun than talking to y'all about the goddamn coronavirus. And people may die. Like, technically, if you get a Category 3 up the coast, you could have more people die than 150,000 that have already died from the coronavirus. You know what's weird is in the comic books, Fantastic Four, Reed Richards. Reed was always up against Namor. Namor's the guy from the sea, the ocean. Poseidon, I guess, is another type of, so like if Namor's here and Namor sucker punches us, you could easily lose. It's like the guy that earlier that was saying nothing new. Well, a major city in the modern age has not been hit by a major category hurricane. So, granted, 1 million people died in a flood in China in 500 BC. And then 1 million people died in China in like 300 AD or somewhere around there. There were 2 times that 1 million people died in a flood in the history of mankind. So I guess in that same thought process, like, nothing new under the sun. We've had 1 million people die in a flood before. So that's why, like, I'm looking at this hurricane season like, fuck, dude. You know, that, like, if people are barely batting an eyelash, 19 years after 9/11, where everybody freaked out for 10 years, at 100, even the 5,000 people that died in Puerto Rico, or the 150,000 people that died in America, or the 650,000 people that died in 2020 and across the globe, then, we're only halfway through the year. And so, I mean, all the shit that's happening in China right now, flood-wise, is really bad. And so, like, Asteroid Fight Club, we lost 150,000 that, like, during this hurricane season, losing a bunch of people, it's possible. Especially if mentally and imaginationally and heart-wise, like I'm saying, I can't stop every asteroid. I can't stop every hurricane by myself. I don't think. I mean, I'm going to try. I'm going to try. And you are a survivor. We will move past this, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know, that's the job as planetary defense commanders. Like, I know I can't save everybody, but I try my hardest. I haven't given up on anybody. I mean, just because I talk a lot of shit about Elon doesn't mean I've given up on him. I mean, just like in the movies where Hawkeye is under Loki's spell, that magically one day he can snap the fuck out of it. Technically, everybody who's way off their rocker can snap the fuck out of it. Like, if Agent Smith takes you over, technically at some point you can reignite your inner pilot light to be stronger than Agent Smith and knock him out your body and keep him from returning inside. So, that's just me. And I love y'all. I got Nintendo 64 people here. Oh, and if you guys remember, I think it was Mike. Back in 2017, at the beginning of the year, someone sent me a PlayStation 4. Because I'd played PlayStation for a decade. I used to play Madden like crazy, and of course, the first Resident Evil blew my mind and scared the shit out of me. Devil May Cry was the greatest game I ever played. But what I'm trying to say is, when I got my PlayStation 4, and I really, really wanted it because I wanted to play the new Spider-Man game. Because I used to love webbing around the city like crazy. Just webbing around the whole city. Anyway, someone sent me a Christmas. It was back when Bitcoin was like 18 grand. Someone sent me a PS4. And over the year and a half, 2 years, I played it. And that I would play different games, but I couldn't find a single game that I could really get into at all. And I even played the Spider-Man game, and I never got far enough to where I could just web around the city. Because it was always like they started you off and you're fighting like 100 guys and doing like... Anywho, so during 2019, when money was real tight here and things were very bad, I had to pawn it, never got it out of the pawn. The whole long story I'm telling now is that there's this game out on the PS4 about samurais, and it has this giant world engine in it. I have not wanted to play PS4 since what I thought Spider-Man would be, and now that I've seen that game, I want a PS4 again. But it's definitely not necessary. Ooh. Yeah, the world has changed since Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers. The whole world has changed. And now we've all got our Black Mirror monoliths. I'm talking to you on one right now. So thanks for hanging out with me for 3 beers and 2 vape hits. I will go back to work. Even though Monday, Tuesday's my weekend. But we got 5 days left to figure out what the fuck is going to happen. I might be back later. I love you. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being cool. Thanks for surviving. Please keep your sense of humor. And like I said, I've asked you over the next 10 years, no rush, to make me laugh once if you can. Y'all are great. Whiskey, you know, I guarantee you, if they let, I think I'm okay, because you guys have been treating me great. Technically, I'm employed. I have a job as planetary defense commander. It's just you guys pay me every month, whether I do good or not, if I get lucky. But I am so worried about the 30 million people. So if we get past the 4th of August and they have not extended unemployment benefits or done something to help Americans deal with the last few months of 2020, where they can't really go back to work on any large level or go back to school, if they don't do anything to help support the people, I will buy a bottle of whiskey that day. Until then, like, it's hurricane season, and so I don't need to buy a bottle of whiskey before we're done with I Say Ass. You know what I'm saying? But definitely on the 4th, let's plan to get fucking shit-faced, and I mean schnockered, together when hurricane or tropical storm or depression or future cyclone, I say ass. I say ass. I say ass. See, from this angle, Chris Farley seems handsomer than me. Because he was boyishly cute. Like, so much so that he was like a cartoon character. He was a really, really handsome guy. So I look like a rugged, holy fuck, I've been through way too many battles. I got like deep space skin and shit. You know? What was I talking about? Oh, I love you guys. But yeah, so plan for us to get toasted and celebrate or not celebrate on the 4th. And the 2 major things we'll be looking for are, did we get hit with a hurricane? Did the public who has been forced into an on-off again lockdown get support from their government, their banks, and their Elon Musks, and their Bezoses, and their Gateses, and their Coxes, Coaches, K-O-C-H, I don't even know how to say it. I was looking at a giant list of all the richest people on the planet and how the money has changed in the last year. Dude, George Soros isn't even like in the top 100, bro. I don't know why I wasn't talking about that motherfucker either. Like, he's not. Like, of all the supervillains you gotta worry about, Thanos, Loki, I would guess Lilith, not to say she's a villain, and Ultron, though they're more powerful than Soros. And to close and conclude, man, if you want to take hydrochloroquine, I'm okay. Let people who really want to take that shit take it. I'm sorry, Doc, what do I got to prove? After almost 8 years of doing this, what do I got to prove now? Prove that rock and roll still exists on planet Earth? Okay. Like I said, that shit will probably be returning in December. And I don't just mean returning in like one little place. I mean to where everyone on Earth can hear it. A rock and roll Christmas! Yeah! That sounds great. Cody, are you listening? Obi-Wan Jr. Can you hear me, Obi-Wan Jr.? Practice Civil War and your other awesome songs. Sweet. And Autumn, if you're listening, pinch Cody later. Cody's cool. Obi-Wan Jr., sorry. Obi-Wan Jr. is cool. Autumn is cool too. Can you be a Jedi and an X-Men? Definitely. Okay, I love you guys. I might be back later. I gotta go see what has happened hurricane-wise in the 2 hours I've been here. I love you guys. Stay cool. God bless everyone.